What's up, guys? I literally just watched this and I'm going to call it out because it's stupid. Okay. So, I've noticed over my last videos, this is not centered, so I'm going to center it. Okay. Okay. Oh, you know what I can do actually? I hate having a hand. That sucks. Okay. Stroke hand. Okay. So check out this video. Alright.
Take a wire with some weights on it and drape it over an ice cube. It'll slice through the cube and leave a solid piece of ice at the end.
There's a reason why this happens, and the reason he gives is not the actual reason. I think uh, what's going on, Russia and China are influencing the system, and they're trying to brain rot you and make kids think this is real when it's bullshit. They're trying to cloud your mind and brain rot you from the inside, like they thought once upon a time the only way America will fall is from the inside, and that's what's going on, because that's what's going on here. And I'm telling you that his reason for it is not the actual reason for it, because I'm the smartest man alive, so watch.
This is called regulation.
Regulation, I don't know what that word is, and we didn't use it before. That's them adding something that wasn't there because they're stupid and they weren't in class that day, and so they missed the lesson where they covered it. So they reinvented it and they re explained it, and they used the wrong method. So watch.
It happens when you put pressure on ice and it turns into a liquid again.
No, that's not true.
But then when the
Well, maybe what you said is true, but what we saw, they're not connected.
pressure is relieved, it turns back to a solid. That's why I can take a snowball made of a bunch of individual crystals and crush it in my hydraulic press,
No.
and it turns into one solid thin sheet of ice.
No.
Now, regulation isn't the only thing that causes the ice to melt. For example, the wire also heats up the ice, causing it to melt a bit.
Okay, I'm done. Okay, the reason why I can't take it, I have to correct it. Okay, so
If I take a wire with some weights on it and drape it over an ice cube, it'll slice through the cube and leave a solid piece of ice at the end. This is called regulation.
what's actually happening is wire is a great conductor. Basically, that's why we use it in like fiber optics and whatnot, because light passes through it, energy passes through it. Light passes through it, energy passes through it. And so that's what's happening is that the cold temperature is being pulled from the ice through the wire, and as it's doing that, there's heat being placed in the wire. That's why when you touch wire it feels cold. That's why. It's because not because it's cold, but because the heat is being vacated from your hand, and eventually you will warm that wire up. Like if you have a ball of wires in your hand and you hold it, eventually the coil will feel cold, even though it's room temperature. It will feel cold, and then you'll touch it, and then it'll start feeling warm because eventually it becomes body temperature instead of room temperature. That's what's going on. What he's talking about, I have no fucking idea. He's just making shit up as far as what's happening here goes. The disabilitation, or whatever the fuck is called, when you squeeze it, yes, that might happen, but this is not that. That's what I'm telling you.
It happens when you put pressure on ice and
Proof, use a shoelace. Do the same thing. It won't work. You know why? Because a shoelace is not a good conductor. That's why.
it turns into a liquid again.
as far as what he's talking about, right? Like,
But then when the pressure is relieved, it turns back to a solid.
no, that's stupid.
That's why it can take a snowball made of a bunch of
This is because the snowball has what's called gaps of pressure, places where air is, and the compressor is you're just crushing it. You're crushing ice. It has nothing to do with it, whatever the fuck he's talking about. All you're doing is crushing it, and it's already like flaky. It's already broken up, and all you're doing is crushing it. That's why eventually it turns into a flat sheet, and it's hard to break at that point because you've changed it from floof into stiff. You know what I'm saying?
of individual crystals and crush it in my hydraulic press, and it turns into one solid thin sheet of ice.
No, it's because you're removing the air. You're removing the air and making it fine tuned to be where it's just a plain sheet of water. There's no air in there. It has nothing to do with what you're talking about.
Now, regelation isn't the only thing
Regelation.
that causes the ice to melt. For example, the wire also heats up the ice, causing it to melt.
No, it doesn't. The wire doesn't heat up the ice. The ice, what's it called? It's transferring its cold into the wire and pulls the cold out of the ice. And that's why it melts. And that's why the wire, if you feel the wire, it's fucking cold after because all of the cold that was in the ice is in the wire. And that's why it's melting like a fucking string because you're pulling it through. This guy's a fucking fake ass idiot.
A bit.
But he's being propelled forward because they're trying to brain rot you. They're trying to ruin you.
And then it can refreeze. Even though the overall ice cube is melting and getting smaller, the small water inside refreezes as the heat is removed by the surrounding ice. Regelation.
Anyways, I gotta take this, so I gotta go. Be well, be happy, be safe. Don't let the rest of your world split you, and peace. Hello?